What's going on, guys? My name is Ryan, and this is my stock market update for 624 going into 625. So we finally had a down day today, and it was a pretty massive down day across the board. Really, not much was up today. It was a day where the Bears were in control for sure. A couple nuances about the day. The market closed with a little bit of tail underneath. There's some signs of support, and we closed in the general T-line zone, which is this 8-day exponential moving average. I would say odds are we're weak again tomorrow. This candle usually doesn't resolve in one day. Um, I think we're going to probably test the 21 again, and we're going to see what happens there. I would say the market's past due for a test of the 50-day moving average because we have not interacted with the 50 since back in April. So with that being said, I could see us coming into a little bit of a sharper sell-off and high to low. If we made it down to the 50-day moving average, I think the market would still be bullish. That would be a buy, but that would be about a 10% correction from high to low. Will we do it in one day? Most of the time, I would say no, but in this market, it seems like everything moves in triple the speed. So if tomorrow's a bad day, I could see it selling off to as low as the 50, and that would put everybody in a pretty tough spot if they did it in one day, because if the market sells off to the 50 in one day, odds are we get a bounce, but it just depends on the fashion we get down there. So going into tomorrow, I'm definitely looking to play defense. This is not an opportunity to play offense yet, in my opinion. Even if the market were to close up and on the high, I'd want to see how it trades Friday before I would get aggressive. I don't really see myself buying anything or anything significant. If I do buy something, it would be like a 1/5 position, be something very small. I would not be aggressive tomorrow. And odds are, if it's a really weak day, I'll be getting smaller and reducing some of my margin and then trying to focus in on some of my better stocks and hold those. So with that being said, just to show FFTY, FFTY looks a little better. Lots of volume to the downside, but we held the T line pretty well on FFTY. So there's a chance that we chop sideways or constructively pull down a little bit more. But there's also a decent chance we get some serious selling pressure. And so I'll go through what I'm in and what I'm thinking about. Adobe's a stock I'm pretty convicted in. So as long as Adobe stays above this 21, I'm not going to touch my position. ALNY, I'm pretty convicted in this stock, and it was barely down today. I don't have a big position in here, so as long as this were to hold above the 50, which my buy is below the 50 on this stock, I'm going to stay in it because I think it's going to higher low, and then if it were to higher low, I'm going to try to buy more and make a bigger position in this stock. Amazon, as long as it's above the 21, I'm going to hang in there. If it were to sell off below the 21, I would reduce my position by probably half. Biomarin, as long as this holds up above the 21, I'm going to try to stick in this one. I'm pretty convicted. It's been very stingy to the downside. It's outperforming here, even though it's pulling down. It's down less than the market. I've got a big gain in this one and a decent position size. And I'm actually, shoot, if it were to give buy signals right up in here, I might add a few shares. Wouldn't buy big, but I might buy a little bit. I think this is one of my better stocks right now. Chegg, I would be willing to reduce Chegg at about $60 tomorrow. My buy is at 58 and some change. I would go ahead and cut it in half because if it's down at 60 and not getting support, it's going to fall to the 50. And the 50 is below my buy point, so I don't want to hold the full line of what I have, which I don't have a full position in Chegg yet, but I don't want to hold what I have into the 50 for a loss. I'd rather sell some for a gain and then hold the other half and let that other half chop. So that's how I'd probably play Chegg tomorrow. So this is one I'm willing to sell tomorrow if it's weak again. Domino's, if this is not looking good around the 50-day moving average at 9:30 tomorrow, I would cut this position. And then Dexcom, I'm a little more convicted in Dexcom. I'm willing to hold this into the 50-day moving average, which would be a very small loss for me, be about a 1.5% loss. But I think I'm going to let this come into the 50 and see what happens. GSX, I want to hold this one till the end of the day. Let's say it's breaking below 50. I'd probably just go ahead and cut it if it's breaking below 50 intraday. But other than that, I'm going to hold this till the end of the day and see how it trades. If it were to trade really weak, I'd sell half of what I have. But if it holds up, I'm going to try to stay in this one because I've got a really big gain in this. And I think it could have another leg higher. Or it could even start grinding higher if I'm patient. Labu, my buy is below the 50 on this stock, so I'm in an interesting spot. I think I can really hang in there for the bigger move, but I would cut it in half at the 21 tomorrow. So somewhere around 51 bucks, I'd go ahead and cut it in half. I don't have a big position in here, but there's no sense letting a huge gain turn into a round trip. So I would be willing to sell Labu tomorrow. Livongo, I'm a little more convicted in this stock. I would definitely try to hold this in until the end of the day, and as long as it's above 65 at the end of the day, I think I'd give this until Friday. Melly, this is one I'm going to try to give all day tomorrow. If it's breaking below 900, I'd probably cut half my position, but as long as it's above 900, I think I'm going to keep my full position and see what happens. NBIX, this is one that if it's below 120, I'd go ahead and cut it and look for a new entry in it. Netflix, as long as this holds above the 50, I'm a little more convicted in Netflix. So as long as Netflix is above the 50, I would stay in Netflix. ServiceNow, if this thing's weak again tomorrow, I'm going to probably cut it, because if it's weak again tomorrow, it's had a character of tapping the 21 and then going up the next day. So if it were to sell off, it's probably going to go to the 50, and I don't have the buy point. I'm break even on it right here, so I don't have the buy point to take it to the 50. I'd rather not take a 7% loss on this, so I would sell this one tomorrow just because of my buy point. But I would be looking to buy it again if it were to get support at the 50-day moving average. Okta, I'm going to try to hang in Okta. As long as it's above this 34, which would be a small loss at this point for me, I'm going to hang in there. But it was up on a bad tape today, so Okta is showing some relative strength. I think it could turn into a real winner. It's already a winning stock, but the fact that it wasn't even down today makes me feel pretty good about trying to give this thing a little bit more wiggle room. Then PayPal, as long as PayPal stays above the 21, I'm going to try to hang in there. I think PayPal is one of my better ones. I've got a big gain in it, and I've got a lot of cushion. So I would try to hold this one at least till the end of the day. I don't want to hold it into the 50 because that would evaporate my whole gain pretty much. So if we're not catching it around the 21, that means that PayPal is probably going to the 50, and I would go ahead and let this thing go and then be looking to buy it back off the 50. Regeneron, I think I'm going to go ahead and let this come into the 50 one more time. My buy is exactly the 50, so I'm letting this come back to break even, and it'll either catch or not catch. But I think all or noning this trade is the best way to go, so that's probably how I'm going to do this one. And then this was the only offense I played today. I started 1/5 into Sprouts. I would sell it below today's low, so there's a chance I'm just selling this instantly tomorrow. I put a 5th in there just because that, to me, looks like a trigger candle. Volume's upticking. If you go to the weekly chart, we're catching support. We've almost got a week's worth of volume with 2 days to go in the week. Grocery stores in general look pretty good today, and I see Sprouts as some form of a flat base after shooting up off these lows pretty strong. So this is the first real base we've had since the lows, and it's a 16% correction or so, roundabout. I started small. I would probably be willing to buy more of this tomorrow. I wouldn't buy huge or anything just because we're in a weak tape right now. But if this were to close, say, above 24 bucks and look decent, I would go ahead and add on to it. I wouldn't add huge, but I would add on to it. But I'd wait till the end of the day to add on to this if I was going to buy more. Shopify, I'm going to try to hang into Shopify until that 20-day moving average, which would be a pretty bad day if it did it all in one day tomorrow. It'd be about a 10% down day, but I've got the cushion in Shop, and I think Shop has the potential to higher low and continue to go higher. So I'm going to try to give Shopify its respect. So I'm definitely risking a big down day on the chin because there's several of these stocks I'm going to try to really give a little bit more room. Teradyne, as long as this stays above the 21, I'm going to try to stay in here. I only have a third of a position in this stock, so I am actually looking to buy more if it can higher low or sell it for a small gain. Tandem, I would be willing to cut this one pretty heavily tomorrow. My buy is right at the 50, pretty much. I'm slightly under the 50. I knew it would try to make a handle. I kind of called that pretty quick because this candle was a sign that there's clear selling in the $90 range, the prior high. So I figured it would try to make a handle. If you look at it, it's kind of a short little cup, and now it's making its handle. So I'd hate to sell the low of the handle, so I'd probably cut it in half if it were to sell off to the 50. And then be looking to buy it back if it catches. But if it has a bad day tomorrow, I won't hold the whole thing just because we don't know how bad the market. And the market could get really sick right here, and all these stocks could fall apart at their current little trends. Twilio, as long as this stays above the 21, I'm going to try to hang in Twilio because I think Twilio could higher low and be a winner. Then Vertex, I've got a really good buy point on Vertex. I'm below the 50-day, so I'm going to try to give Vertex. I'm going to try to pretend like I don't own this tomorrow. Unless it's slicing through the 50 like butter, I don't want to touch this one. Wingstop was actually pretty strong in a weak tape. It was only down 11 cents. The 50 is a small loss for me right now, and I think I'm willing to let this one come into the 50 as well. And then Zscaler, I would cut this one tomorrow if it's below the 21. So having gone through everything, you can see somewhere around half of what I'm in, I'm willing to sell tomorrow. And then the rest, I'm definitely willing to sit through another down day. And I'm going to have to take it in the context of the day, because if the market slices through this 21 like butter and is closing on the low, I'm going to err on the side of selling more than less. If the market is showing supportive action at this 21, I'm going to err on the side of holding more. So it all depends on how we interact with this support in the channel that I have drawn. Will depend on how much I'm holding tomorrow versus how much I'm selling. There's a few trades I'm interested in just looking at. I probably won't be very aggressive tomorrow. I want to see the market turn back up, but Teladoc is making a cup, and now it could be a handle to this cup with handle. Here's the cup right here. Now it's making a handle. I am interested in this name. I'm interested in PennyMac. PennyMac's been holding up really well, trading tight. That looks very bullish to me. A way to just sneak in. This Telecom Shin, that looks like a cup with handle to me. It's not a pretty cup with handle, but I see volume right at the 50. Somebody's catching it right here. That looks decent to me. I still like this Element X if it can get above the 8-day. They still haven't been able to close it above the 8-day, so I don't want in. But if they can close it above the 8-day, I could see myself starting like a fifth of a position in this and selling against the low of the base, or potential base rather. It's not a base yet. BJ's Wholesale, this thing looks very strong. I got shaken out of it over here, but now it's perked back up. I think this is still a buy if it can kind of hold the 8-day moving average. I like Taiwan Semiconductor. This, I'm zoomed in a little bit, but it's kind of a cup with handle that's made a higher handle now on the base. And if this can look good, it's holding the T line right now, which is good action. If it can kind of give me some kind of oomph, I could see an excuse to start a position in this stock. It looks really strong. It's a great company, great earnings. I guess Palomar. Palomar has been trading real tight and looking strong. This is a very volatile stock, so I don't know if I'd actually trade it due to how volatile the stock is. But that's another stock that looks really good in this tape to me. I guess just some others that aren't really ready yet, but I'm watching. Ring Central's making a base, so I'm looking for my type of entry into Ring Central. 5.9 is working on coming out of this base, and that looks bullish to me if it can continue to hold this 50. And that's the bulk of what I see out there. I don't want to do too many more trades because it's still not time to get aggressive. It might be time to actually get very defensive if the market shows more weakness. So about a 95% chance tomorrow that all I'm doing is either holding or selling, and maybe a 5% chance that I put a little bit of money to work. But I'm probably getting smaller tomorrow if it's a really weak day, or I'm holding everything and crossing my fingers if it's an acceptable down day. But who knows? Maybe we gap up, go higher, and I'll just hold if it's an up day. So, as always, think for yourself, make your own decisions. I make these videos because I think these are the type of videos I would like to bump into when I started trading. And so I'm just putting out there what I'm doing each day, what I'm thinking, and what I'm looking at going into the next trading day. So this isn't financial advice. Think for yourself, make your own calls. And let's crush this market. Let's make some money. I sure didn't make any money today. I got killed. Now I'm still up good on the month, but the market took some of that back today from me. As you saw on my stocks, I was only up in one stock today. Everything I'm in was down. So I have a feeling it's going to be another bad day tomorrow, but that's just my gut. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see if I was right. Good luck tomorrow, guys. Let's make some money.